Disney Plus is The Big Fit. I've got nothing against educational children's programming, but this show sucks. Whose idea was this guy? The concept of the show is that a kid has to figure out who's lying about being an expert in something and who actually is the expert. So not only are they using listening and deductive reasoning skills, but they're also learning about some science stuff along the way. Pretty cool, right? Well, then Clive opens his mouth.
They're also a very important food source for some animals like sea turtles.
Basically, the show cycles between being mildly interesting and insultingly stupid, but never at the same time.
And then just make sure it gets to its destination as quickly as possible.
Ah! Oh, I've been stung by a jellyfish! Only joking.
It just feels like another example of TV executives not trusting children to be smart enough to absorb content that isn't some over-the-top character being a bumbling idiot. Yvette Nicole Brown is great, and I wish half the show wasn't her pretending to laugh at Clive's jokes.
And where's the fun in that?
Fuck Amazon. Finally, Netflix, the granddaddy of streaming services, the platform with over 500 million active users, all sharing 9 accounts. This is what you guys came here to see, and that's why I put it at the end. So, I'm not sure if anyone's ever pointed this out before, but there's a lot of stuff on Netflix. Almost too much. But in the middle of this gargantuan tidal wave of content are some really incredible shows. Plus, when you include things that have been retroactively acquired by Netflix, like Death Note, Avatar: The Last Airbender, iCarly, we're talking about some real classics. But when looking at strictly Netflix originals, in my opinion, the best show on here is BoJack Horseman.
You know, it's funny. When you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags.
There are very few pieces of art that have made me both cry from laughing and also the regular kind of cry. When I started watching this, I fully expected a Family Guy style of stupid but occasionally solid comedy. The first couple episodes would make you think that that's what this is going to be. I was not prepared for the emotional journey I was about to be taking. If that description is not something that appeals to you, I totally understand. There are a lot of shows and movies that try to do this. They tug on your heartstrings, only to feel shallow and forced. Nothing in this show feels forced, like they're just being dark for the sake of it. They're able to explore themes of depression and guilt and regret, and you feel connected to the characters even though they tend to represent the worst of us. It takes a special group of writers to create such a relatably emotional and human experience using a bunch of anthropomorphic cartoon animals. The voice actors are incredible, the writing is fantastic, there are so many great lines I think about all the time.
I believe it was Benjamin Franklin who said, "You have reached the end of your free trial membership at benjaminfranklinquotes.com.
What a wise man.
And it's just a really great show, one that has subverted my expectations and also has made me laugh as much as anything else I've seen. Really cannot recommend it enough. As for the worst show on Netflix, there are so many directions I could have gone with this one. Space Force was a massive disappointment, Emily in Paris is a joke, and Unsolved Mysteries isn't a bad show, but it's frustrating to watch because they never solve the mysteries. Come on guys, figure it out and then get back to it. Lots of good options here, but I'm gonna throw a bit of a curveball and go with something I think is flying under the radar. It's a new series called Marriage or Mortgage, and it could not have been released at a more unfortunate time. The producers got so unlucky with this that it kind of feels like an 8-episode sketch. So here's how it works. Every episode there is a young couple that wants to get married and buy a house, and the 2 hosts of the show will help them do one of those things, but they have to choose. So this lady's a wedding planner, this lady's a realtor, and also it kind of scares me for some reason, and they're competing to get the contestants to choose their thing. Now if you're like me, you're probably thinking, who the fuck would choose a wedding over a house? And the answer is, most of the people on this show. In that way, it's actually kind of the perfect hate watch experience. I found myself yelling at my TV multiple times watching these people make the biggest mistakes of their lives. Now, we obviously have a different perspective on this now. If this time last year you were given the choice between throwing a big event with 125 people or a nice house to live in, because you're not going to be able to leave it anytime soon, the choice would be a no-brainer. But this show